Why does that fucking light do that to this lens all the time? Yeah. It's just something about that light. This camera does not like it. Does not like it at all. Not quite. Morning. Yeah, you sure did. It went nice and long, didn't they? Luckily for some of us, all we need is about a good 2 hour power nap. Before the young one starts screaming bloody murder, acting like we starve him for a whole week. I'm surprised he's as quiet as he is right now. He sure woke me up. He just knows, right? He just knows that it's got to be loud enough to wake one of us up. How old is he now? He is just over 4 months. 4 months and a week now. Yeah, you know what time it is. Morning snowplow. Those bottles down, yeah. Time for rice cereal. It is time for rice cereal, as a matter of fact. We definitely pick some up. He's talking about the time he experimented with his cousin. How did you know? At least you're paying attention. Loney, what's good with you, brother? How you doing? Yeah, might as well, Snow. Give it a second. It's only you and like two people I know, and then like a couple trolls. Isn't that great when you just like relegate people immediately to the fucking troll category based on the first thing that comes out their mouth? School naps. Good to see you, bro. How you doing? That's what's up, brother. I appreciate it, man. Smokey and the Bandit, like the actual movie, or I mean the TV show, or is that on a movie? I don't even know. What you looking at? No. Yeah, all right. You butthead. Break your neck. Looking at me. Room. Yeah. Goofball. I don't know what's up with this show, but every time it doesn't have commercials, right? It goes straight to like 2 minutes of a "We'll be back" sign, but it's not a commercial. It's not an episode. Big old intermission screen, I guess. YouTube is paying by watch hours over views, so I'll ignore them. What happened? Hey, Glenn, good to see you, bro. How you doing tonight? Oh yeah, yeah. Found like we got somebody else that took Flame's position and bringing all the drama. Savagely, morning to you. Saw a caterpillar. 420. Good morning. Good to see you, Matt Steiner. That's crazy that you talk like that, Steiner. After I bought one of your fucking when I bought one of your hoodies too. Over here repping the family name. You come in here and say some shit like that. That's crazy. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? Oh yeah. Let's see if it's even over here. No, that's a Cloverdale hoodie. Oh, might have actually finally got rid of that thing. Sorry, Jody. Well, that sucks. I just made a inside joke to some troll with the last name Steiner. I don't even have the hoodie for the punchline. Oh well. Let's see where y'all been busy, huh? Just chatting up a storm. Somebody's got shit deleted right away, huh? Hippocrates, good to see you again. Chilling on a Friday night. It's my Friday morning. You're on your way out as I'm on my way in. You're clocking out just as I'm clocking in, huh? It'd be like that, right? It'd be like that sometimes. I get that, just let it flow, but they'll get worse if nothing is done. 5x4 audio is low. What is that? One of your clips last night. Was it really? Come nobody ever tells me these things. I think I got like some kind of heat exhaustion or something last night. Went over to the in-laws. My father-in-law's got some bad asthma, really bad stuff with his chest, his lungs going on because he ran into a fire. He ran in to help somebody out during a fire and inhaled a lung full of smoke. He said it was just one lung full of smoke, and it was equivalent to 45 packs of Marlboro Reds in one sitting, or something like that. It's bad. It's bad for him, and it fucked his lungs up permanently. He can never take a full breath. He can't. He always has to have an inhaler. Um, Allergies kick it up. Like it may, I mean, the smoke inhalation permanently fucked his lungs up. And he was out there picking weeds the other day and pulled up some, you know, one of these things that was giving him a hard time. A bunch of dust and everything came up with it, and he inhaled a bunch of it, and he's been having problems for the last couple of days. So, they told us about it. We came over, we brought the grandbaby over for them to spend some time with, and they were telling us about that because I had to go run and go get him a new inhaler. And hearing him wheeze like that, man, reminds me of my grandpa Nudie from my stepmother's side. He used to wheeze and gurgle really bad too. I always used to have to run out and grab his big ass bag of medicine. He was a dope man though. He was like a fucking 50-some-year-old dope man. I knew it too, right? Every time he'd ask me to run out to his car, his Cadillac, right? His old Cadillac DeVille or something like that. Old school luxury. He'd tell me to grab his billfold, right? He always lets you know he's going to give you money by making you go and fetch his money for him. And you go, and it was always the best because every time he opened this billfold, it was nothing but hundreds and fifties. That was it, just stacked full of hundreds and fifties all the way across this billfold that zips across the top. Those money bags, what everybody talking about. And yeah, so he'd always like, hey, grandson. He didn't know me more than a couple of years, but I was a step grandson, but he still loved the shit out of me. I think my dad's wife was his favorite daughter, and or probably just the one that did the best for herself. And so when he come visit, yeah, he spoiled the shit out of me. So I'd go get his billfold, and he'd hand me like $200 or $300 bills, and that's like crazy, right? You can't just hand a kid that much money. I could tell, I could even tell that's something my dad wouldn't do, and he wouldn't trust me with that amount of money. I wouldn't trust me with that amount of money. And exactly what I would do was go out and buy like an ounce of weed with it, get ripped off by some fucking, somebody that wasn't gonna do me right. But even if they managed to get a bogus price off on me, I was breaking that shit down into all pinners and selling them at high school. So it was never about like a big come up for me, right? I lived off that from day to day. I'd go to school, make 25, $30, and that was cool. That was cool for me. I was good. That was good enough for me. I always looked like I had money. I always had nice clothes, new shoes. I stole all that shit though. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I stole all that shit. I was a remarkable thief all the way up until I made a deal with God. That's what it took, right? It took an act of God to finally get me to stop stealing. Johnny Richter from the band Cottonmouth Kings. Hayes Days? Cool, that's cool. It's good to know. I'll check him out and see what he says. Trisha, good to see you. I wish I had that little guy. He's so amazing, well behaved. He does. I think he does have the native instinct in him. There's certain things he's just like I'm able to take care of him. I've never done this before in my life. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's just an instinct on his part or my part or what. Low kidder one, high shop. Still kind of night for me. Yeah, that's where I was going with that in the first place, right? So I went over there, started pulling weeds for him. First, my girl went out there, because it's her parents. She volunteers to go out and do stuff for them first, right? And then it was hot, so she came in. They had like some cool ass little weighted, like kept refrigerated compressed thing that went around the neck and shoulders. Looked cool, looked comfortable. She came in, handed me the gloves, and I went out and I finished it all off. And I'm still out there in my long sleeve shirt, this thick ass hat. I was sitting there, sweat was running off my shit, right? It was dripping off me. I was bent over and pulling this shit, but like, I'm not going to stop or quit because I'm uncomfortable or it's too warm or whatever. Like, this needs to be done. And I can't let the old man be out here fucking around by himself doing this, right? And the girl already got me this far, so this needs to be done. And I'm just going to do it because it needs to be done right now, right? We can't put it off till later. So I pulled it all up and I came in and I felt kind of warm, kind of hot. We left, we came home. And as soon as we got home, I just started feeling fucked up, sick, craving water and shit. Like, it's kind of rare. It's kind of rare for me. Crave water. How was your day yesterday? I'm coming from the future. Oh, I pretty much just ran it down to you right there, Glenn. Huh? Yeah, 420. That's all right. They were already in. As soon as I popped on, they were already here. Only 10:34 a.m. here. Where you at, Hippocrates? Ooh, mushroom season. Enticing. Full moon tonight. I'm going sitting there moaning his neighbors, mooning the shit out of his neighbors. How come no one tells me? Stephen John syndrome and it burned my lungs sucks. Oh, is that what it's called? Yeah, that shit's rough, man. I feel bad for the dude. Eternal Albion Empire. I'm from North Dakota. Oh, look at this. Some of you can't even not get yourselves timed out long enough for me to see what the hell you all said. My nephew sent me a picture of the clips last night. I was sleeping. Ah, honest people are in retrospect 100% genuine. That's good to know. I think honest people just understand there's more of an impact to the truth than there is anything that they can make up on their own. That's the power of truth. People know when they hear it. Pro charge. That's all right though, because I'm not. Stopped after getting out of probation twice. Never stole from people, but corporations could get it. Yeah. Unfortunately, nobody was safe from me. I would especially target kids who had things that I didn't. This is spiteful little shit. Can I help you, sir? No, yeah. Look at you just having a blast by yourself. He is just all smiles. Suppose change whatever he's got going on here. Do 7? Yes, I have been to prison. Yeah, 420. The heat fucked me up. I had to go lay down. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it was something. Just like I got food poisoning last week. I think that was from like some expired dipping glaze that this pretzel joint gave me. I thought the glaze, it's like a dipping sauce, right? Peel a little top off. I thought it was kind of weird because I had the cinnamon sugar coated pretzel bites. So you go to dip it in, and I figured the cinnamon was making it hard for it to, get actually dipped in the sauce. And so you kind of had to like slide it to the corner and like pull up a chunk like chip dip or something. I took a bite. I didn't taste anything weird or whatever, but I knew theoretically now that the cinnamon part is bit off and you have the exposed breaded dough part, that should grab the glaze or whatever, right? And even then, it didn't. It wouldn't stick to it, and I would still have to, slide it to the edge and pull up a chunk and take a bite. I thought it was odd. I didn't taste anything funny, but by the time I sat down to eat with my girl, smell of food, heat, feeling woozy. I couldn't stand it. I was like, I gotta go. We gotta go right now. I got my shit to go. We paid. We bounced, and I walked her back to work, and we made it all the way to like the last trash can before leaving the fucking mall. It was like 10 feet from leaving the mall. I couldn't make it outside. I started up chucking right there in the fucking trash can. And I got like no qualms about doing that when I'm really sick because I've done a lot of that from being too fucked up in front of my homeboys in prison. You know, and you got a whole unit watching you up chuck into a trash can. About 120 men. No, it's no secret. Everybody knows. You know, everybody knows. Everybody gets fucked up around here. Everybody knows who's got the monkey on their back. Everybody knows when there's a dry spell going around. Or the dope man went to the shoe, and everybody who's strung out in the fucking pod is sick. Everybody knows, you know. So there's kind of like this lack of community privacy that kind of does away with the embarrassment of doing something like getting too high or being physically sick in front of a large group of people in the public, basically. It just doesn't hit the same. It defeats. Let's see what you got going on here, bud. Appreciate you. Stop kicking my hand. What up? What's going on there? Let's see a little red. Hold on to that. I'm just gonna put a little bit of ointment down. Just a little preemptive layer. You have to let go of your feetsies, bud. Thank you. Oh yeah. Bam. Competitive bull roping. Competitive bull roping times there. Y'all should have seen the little suspenders I had him in today. Had my very own little Chucky doll. Take this pink, sir. you go. Little blanket action there. Let's get rid of this sopping wet diaper. Sopping wet ass diaper. Stepson turns 21 this week. Raised him from the age of 3. Feels as if my own. I love him. It's just my son. A bit like you. Step granddad thought of you. Oh, all right. Raven, hi from France. I appreciate that. Mooning my neighbors. Yeah. Okay. Ireland, Hippocrates. That's what's up. I knew you were aware from like somewhere not from America. I just couldn't put my finger on where. Jacob, no. No, sir. There's no Wes Watson action over here. Nope. I think that's one of the main draws to this channel that I've ever spoke on was that Wes Watson is a figment of his own imagination. There was never a Wes Watson. That dude probably has never boofed in his day in his life, but only knew that the most hardcore of hardcore convicts take it to that extreme. He respected it. That's why he said that he boofed his own paperwork because he thought it would sound cool. Batman himself could not beat that fucking information out of me if that's something that I would do and I ever came onto social media. Absolutely not. Oh, y'all got to see this picture my girl took. I had I think it was, I had to, it was the controller, right? I had the PS5 controller in my hand, just like this, and I was sitting with a baby rabbit on my lap, and I had a bottle, and so I was sitting there like this, and the baby rabbit was drinking. She took a picture like that, right? And at a glance, it looked like I was shooting up, right? Because of the way that I was holding the angle of my arm to the bottle, and the way I had like my finger on the back of it, and I was looking down. It looked like I was shooting up, right? And I like had like a tripped out ass fucking moment because I was like, whoa, like, I mean, obviously shooting up something I've never done, but it might as well because every day I saw it. It was in my cell, with the binky. It's like I'm holding a binky, right? That's the actual word for it, which is the little bottle. We call those binkies, right? But in the prison, federal prison, they call the intravenous homemade needle binkies. And I was like, ain't that a fucking contrast of all contrasts to like, 10 years ago? That's something that was an everyday part of my life. And now it was morphed into something completely different. Like AI ran it through its little fucking filter. Dodie. Go on. Get the hell out of my way. Perfect stuff. Ooh, I swear to God. Go. Little redheaded ass stepchild of mine. Quiet. France is not everyone's croissant, that's for sure. I personally think France is badass coming from Las Vegas. Yeah, everywhere has something to offer that that place doesn't. Shut up. Sea-Wag, I'm sorry you feel that way. Yes, I get that, but that's not what we're in about here. Yeah, it isn't. Definitely isn't. Yeah, he is smiling. Yeah, everyone talks about going to Paris. Like, how are you gonna shit on a place that regularly brings in a lot of people? I left Vegas in 2024. This is where this hat is from. Sigmund, yes, he is. Chief Adanawa. That's definitely a concise way to put it. Yeah, Sea-Wag. You were headed there. I could see that a mile away. Yeah, food poisoning does suck. It does suck. Luckily for me, natives we don't really like fall ill to a lot of like the usual illnesses that will like lay your usual people down for a day or two. Like once I threw that up, I was good. Like I came back and I think I napped. Yeah, I did. I napped for like 2 hours and I had to get up and drive and go get the kid and then drive and go get the girl and then carry on with all the other duties that are usual for a man of my position. Shut up, goddammit. 4 in the goddamn morning. I had to put that one in timeout. Difference in opinions are welcome, but hating on people because where they're from is where it's not cool. It's not. Definitely not. Another healthy diaper. Yes, it was. No care about changing a diaper. Like I said before, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. This was never supposed to happen. I was never supposed to make it out of prison, let alone live this long, or get in a position where I could own my own home or be a stay at home dad. So I got nothing to complain about at all. I think perspective is key. A lot of people could improve their outlook on life by revising their perspective. That's exactly why I say, I swear to God, fresh out of fucking high school, man, everybody, 6 months shoe time. 6 months shoe time. You're gonna come out, you're gonna change that fucking diaper. You're gonna be grateful. Trust me. Oh man, fabulous beast. I'm not even gonna try that first part, but hello to you. Welcome to the stream, David. Welcome. I'm not gonna say your name. You probably won't last long though. Gone back to smoking cigarettes. Vape is just way too sweet. Yeah. The problem with that is you end up vaping a lot because it no longer is accompanied by the process of having to go outside. And you don't want to have to go up and go outside literally every 5 minutes like you do with a vape device. I don't know what the fuck they call it. I just call it my puffer. But or the vape, right? That it is just called a vape. But yeah, you end up doing it too much, and then you end up finding flavors that you like, which make you your nicotine intake about 3 times as much as it normally would be if you were sticking to regular cigarettes. So you do have to, and then if you, it's even worse if you're not, if you're still doing both. You got to pick one or the other, and then moderate yourself so that it's not, overdoing it. Because I used to overdo it too, and when I would overdo it, I would start wheezing, right? I would start gurgling, coughing up shit. So I would have to make it a point to not touch this thing for increments of time. Yeah, cigarette smell is rough after you're used to not having to smell it. Oliver, welcome. Cigarettes are good. I like cigarettes at certain times, man. There's just certain times that there's just nothing like it, right? After a good shit, a good meal, a good Mr. Nasty time with the significant other, right? First thing in the morning, you wake up. Hell, just anytime you wake up. Yeah. Anytime you wake up, just roll over, light a cigarette, act like you're a private eye in an old black and white Dick Tracy movie with a fucking monologue running in your head like a fucking 1930s mobster. Jesus Christ. Yeah, YouTube Streets is something else tonight, though, isn't it? Joseph, what's good with you? I'd be smoking a whole box of cigs on a drinking night. Damn. Am I a frat boy? Oh, wow. You aren't the most cultivated individual in this world, are you? A conventional life? What is a conventional life? I think I probably live about as close to the white picket fence storyline as most of you will ever get. What's unconventional about that? Thank you for the treat, Snowplow. You quit smoking weed for some reason. Weed gave you swollen lymph nodes in the neck. Damn, that's something probably exclusive to you, bud. I look like I got a story. Man, do I? I just got exhausted thinking about that question. Like, where do I even begin? You'd have to start at the beginning of my channel, go to the oldest video, and just hit play, bud. Catch you on the next live. See what you still think. All right, Loney, welcome to the members. I'm an American Indian. I voted Trump and chose God as my Lord and Savior. My tribe's lineage was burned in an arson attack, but was able to get back status after familial blood tests. That's good to know, Mr. Tibbles. Daniel Boxing. Can't hear good? People crazy. He already had one. Yeah, Loney's always new here. Bill Clinton, am I allowed to spew hatred on here? You could try. Everyone's allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. However, they are not free from the consequences of those actions or choices. But you are free to do whatever the fuck you want. Would that would be a trip that really was Bill? Just out here trolling motherfuckers as himself. And yeah, yeah. That's what my girl has. She has a warm electric blanket on her Moto Motion recliner, which already heats up and reclines and massages and fucking does their taxes and all this other crazy shit. Better be worth the money. That's all I know. X-ray, hello to you. Tony Sergerberg. How long have I been a former felon? Is that does that time start from when you're released or from when you're first charged with a felony? Because I caught my felony in 2006, or at least what I went to prison for. What I went to prison for, I caught in 2006. I was released in 2018. I've been out ever since. Face tattoo X-ray is an anarchy sign. Drake, same question. It's an anarchy sign. Kind of hard to tell because face tattoos spread no matter how well they're done. They'll still spread because they're exposed to the elements, because it's face skin, and it just doesn't have that same rigid resiliency and elasticity that other parts of the body would normally hold, because it is like a almost 20-year-old tattoo at this point. Rosalina, thank you for stopping through and saying hi. Rarely gets sick. He says because he's native. Yeah, no, it is. It is because I mean, you think about it. We've already survived. You know, who knows how many odd amount of hundreds, thousands, hundreds, thousands of years. Who knows? Eating what we captured and killed and cooked or caught fishing or whatever. We didn't have these vaccines. We didn't have a lot of these things. We had to build up our own immunities to eating bad things or consuming bad water or you know what I mean? Like we already had those on our own. What we didn't have is wherever the fuck was on those blankets that they brought over, right? But that's another story and it's not a topic for this channel. But that's what wiped us out. But when it comes to just catching a regular fucking cold or something, I barely notice it. I'll notice my nose will run a little bit. Um, I might feel a little achy, like the shirt on my skin feels a little uncomfortable. I'll probably feel like a little run down for a day, and then that's it. Like I don't ever fall ill unless it's like really something. Me and my girl were just talking about this. She said the only time she ever see me get really sick was the first day she met me. She came over and met me on a tattoo consultation, and we spent the night. I watched it. We like ordered out, watched the movie, and I ended up getting sick, like really sick, throwing up and everything. And I'm like, oh, she's gonna bounce. She's immediately gonna take off. She's gonna be like, hey, I got some things I gotta do or whatever. And she stuck around and she took care of me. Right, she stayed the night, and then the next day she stayed. Um, we were actually snowed in, so nobody had to go to work or anything. It was like a statewide shut in, or at least county wide, right? At least there was the whole county was shut down. I know that, so no one had to be at work for like a week. But yeah, it was a cool time. We just had to worry about going over to her house to take care of her dog for like for a while. But yeah, she came back the next day and she fed me, like nursed me back to health. She spent like 3 days nursing me back to health. And I told her that was probably the single most Like that was how she that's how she got in there with me. That's how she got in there with me. That's how she stood out. I knew if she was as a complete stranger to me, willing to care for me, um, what more do you need? You know what I mean? What more do you want? No, my destiny was not fixed. Yeah, Jack Sparrow. I got nothing to complain about. Tyler's pet crabs. I'm so high. Just got my new mod yesterday. Unless it's disposable, of course. Yeah, mod. Okay. They are mods, yes. I've never called them that. I've just never understood why they call them that. Who is Saku? 2019? That's really good, justified. I eat cigarettes? Damn. Jack Sparrow, I'm 40 years old. We appreciate that from Denmark, Tyler. We appreciate all of it because it all helps. Your comment just let the algorithm know that people want to watch and they're engaged enough to comment. That's all that means. There's no such thing as bad engagement. You gave 300 views. Hmm. I've been live all day. Are you tripping? I don't know what you're smoking. Check out Eastern Orthodox. Best decision you'll ever make. Unfortunately, I've already been through the whole ringers of all the different Christian religions that the juvenile facilities force on you. I think I'm good on that. That eclipse brought out the strange. Yes, it did. Damn, you could do that, huh, Hippocrates? Calcium buildup. Damn. A Bolivian. Some of that Bolivian no sugar. That Bolivian nose powder. Fish scale. Yeah, I did. Hippocrates got transferred to 8 different prisons over the span of 12 years. Federal prisons. They just send you to the next one. Once you've outstayed your welcome, once you've caused enough havoc or you've amassed too much of an influence on the yard, you become a headache. And when you become a headache, you become a threat to security of the orderly running of the institution. If anybody ever does some of that fucking Byron Blake type shit and pulls up everything I've ever been charged for in the Federal Bureau of Systems, whatever's in my central file, apparently people can do that. I would be grateful if somebody did because I would love to have a record of all my shots and all the different times that I went to the shoe for SIS investigations. Because sometimes they give us a report saying they're locking you up for some bullshit, and sometimes they don't. But I imagine my central file has something to say. And I've personally read a handful of times that I was a threat to the security running of the institution or to the security or safety of the staff and population. And those were the terms in which they would use to get me shipped to a whole another fucking prison. So you kind of start to believe the hype after a while, and you really start to really lean into that animal view that they have of you, right? And if they treat you like that and they never give you anything sharp or hard or fucking long to poke somebody with, or you know what I mean, like yeah, you start to get a little stir crazy. You know, you start to get a a little wild, started doing wild shit like headbutting your pillow and stuff. He started getting real out there, started acting crazy. Marcel, good to see you, bro. Made his own milk out of vitamin C tablets and developed two colostrum in the pee bags. He couldn't shit for weeks. Damn, that is crazy, but it's definitely something I expect somebody in prison to do. Palooza, Lily, welcome to the stream. Thank you for saying hi. Three colds in 26 years, never had COVID. Justified. I stopped taking the flu shot like 10 years ago. And I did that at the behest of some crazy dude that I happened to be celled up with in the shoe. He was a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracist that was always talking about Rush Limbaugh said this, and Rush Limbaugh said that, and everybody's a Marxist or a leftist or a fascist, and Second Amendment this and Second Amendment that. And I'm like, dude, you all this talk about Second Amendment. You lost your Second Amendment. Shut the fuck up, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that bitch ass shit. And he actually pissed me off to the point where I bowed up on him one day because he had insulted me in a way that I didn't know, but I could tell it was an insult because he said a word that I didn't know at the time, and I learned this word because of this incident, and because of that, I'll never forget this guy. I said something to him, right? I don't know what it was. I think he might have said his daughter died or something like that, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." And as you all probably know, right? Those of you who are familiar with me now at this point, if I say that, I do mean it, right? I don't. That is not just a hollow platitude, right? I do mean when I hear misfortune from other people. I wasn't the same person I was then that I am today, but even then, I do remember being offended by what he said. He goes, "Oh, spare me your fucking he's like, spare me your blah 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 platitudes and this and that." And well, I know you don't give a fuck. And I don't know what he said, and I jumped up and I was like, hold on, man. I said, what the fuck did you just say to me? you know, and I was like, what did you just say? And I like got all fucking gangster on this dude because he said a word I didn't know, and I felt dumb. But more than anything, I wanted him to repeat himself so I could like try to, I guess, ponder out what it could have meant. I ended up asking him what it meant, and it was funny. I got out, I looked it up and everything. It was stupid though. But that was when I was a young, hot-headed, knuckle dragging, fucking crayon eater. But I stopped taking the not the COVID shot. I stopped taking flu shots because he told me to, and I stopped getting sick. Imagine that, right? Feeders Huggers Anonymous. That's funny. Trisha, good morning to you. Yeah, right. I've had some weird requests in here justified. One person wanted me to show them the inside of my sweater and then to turn it inside out and then show him. He kept asking about it, right? Like literally like 2 days in a row, kept asking about it. I finally had 420 fucking ban his ass. I was like, this is getting weird, man. I feel like he's asking me to do something that's gonna like sexually gratify him or something. I'm like, I'm good, man. I'm good on all of that. Snowplow, that could have been single handedly the dumbest thing you've ever done. And I mean that with the best intentions. Because if you do it for that reason, if you try something like that to make the pain go away or whatever it is, that's exactly what it's going to do. And it's going to swallow you fucking whole. That's how I got through my whole sentence. One day it was time to go home. And that's exactly what my bros in federal prison, or not federal prison, that's what my bros in the state prison told me. They gave me like 3 or 4 rules to follow. Don't mess with anyone's punks. Don't run up any debts. Um, don't borrow anything. Something like that. I remember. All I remember was don't mess with any punks and don't run up any debts. I think he said, and stay away from heroin. And they said, unless you want your sentence to fly by. That's exactly what he said to me. I'll never forget him. His name was Ryan Mountain. He's passed away. It's crazy. I've outlived all the men in my stories. Isn't that wild? I've literally outlived most of the men that I have to talk about, including my enemies. That's another trip, right? Like I'm a fucking a Batman without my Joker. Like I had enemies. It does something to you when you know they're gone, right? When they were present for so long, looming in the obscure, far off future horizon, you always knew that you could run into them again, right? That they're out there harboring ill intent towards you, and then you just find out one day that they're all dead. You're like, whoa, what the fuck? That's a trip. But yeah, they told me, man. They said stay away from that shit unless you want your entire prison sentence to go by, and it did. Changed me forever too. I think now we're just missing Tater Tot. Tater Tot's gonna be pissed. She's missing another live. I've been wanting to ride my bike. Both of them. For real, for real. I just came in from outside enjoying my cigarette and checking out the full moon. Not sure the neighbor enjoyed it, right, though? That's funny. Yeah. That's the good thing about it. That was the blessing in disguise, snowplows. You just didn't know where to get it. And unfortunately, I know of too many horror stories of people who wander out there trying to find it out the blue. They either get taken for everything they got, or something bad happens. Yeah, exactly. 420. She said the same thing. Yeah, I put that dumbass in timeout. Good. I don't even know what he said, but I'm not going to go look. I appreciate that, snowplow. I never thought that's something I'd be hearing one day. That I got an awesome family. She sure did. Whoever they were. Pretty fly. Good to see you. Well, thank you for the star and the gold coin. That's right, 420. You already know. You already know to get down in here. How weird and violent. He's smoking my house. Barn dog, good to see you, brother. How much love snowplowing you have already helped everywhere in here has, you know, drugs, gambling, stay away from them. Yeah. Yep. They're not but bad news. They sure are. I've done nothing but tell stories that reinforce those rules. Yeah, snowplow. It's convenient not having the smell of marijuana constantly lingering on you. I like the vapes for that reason too. Because if I get pulled over and I'm wearing this hat and I smell like marijuana, I'm getting pulled out. We're getting searched, right? But I can get pulled over with this hat and they don't smell anything. They can't say shit, right? They're gonna figure, they're gonna stereotype. They won't be wrong, right? They won't be wrong, but I'm just not the one, right? I'm not the one they need to be looking for. Yeah, yeah, I like that. That's a good one. Good joke. Do you know why a bike can't stand? Because it is too tired. Yeah, we're missing Pebbles too. If anybody's got Pebbles' number, let her know we're live. Same with Tater Tot. I think some of you mods probably have to exchange numbers on your own time. I'm surprised if some of you haven't already, to be honest. You remember when you started smoking at 14? I said I was going to quit when they hit $2 a pack. Now they're 15. Really? You roll your own? That's commendable. Oh, oh, justified. I just read that you haven't gone to bed yet, and that just made me so tired all at once. Another fetus. Yeah, Glenn. We get to see the band hammer quite often around here. You are subject to indoctrination into being free. You're not wrong. If you're going to be free, if you're going to be out here, you're going to have to play the part, whether you believe the indoctrination or not. You're going to have to be plugged into the matrix and just be conscious of be conscious of it the whole time. You think so? Barn dog. Everyone's favorite J Cat. I'm gonna have to go back and look at his comments now. You notice I said it's comments. Everyone's favorite J Cat. That could be a couple for me. But I always had one rule is to not give them any play whatsoever. I've never mentioned them. Flames is the only one I've ever given any real attention to. The rest of them, I don't even talk about them. Everyone knows. This little tiny dog with long ass fur wandered into our garage. And the next thing I know, my grandpa has the dog tucked under his arm and he's carrying it around the house. Hey, sometimes that shit was just right in time, right? Loki, low kid or one, game over. Thank you for the game over. Thank you. Itchy fingers. If you buy a man a plane ticket, he flies only once. Throw him from the plane and he flies to the rest of his life. That's good. That is good. We just got another dog. Yeah. I think my girl said that today about the baby bunny. She said I might as well name him. She knows I'm probably going to keep him. You Buy the vape batteries, just not the cartridges. Yeah, yeah, that's how it is here too. Official haze. That's funny. I would hardly think today's rebellious teenagers would look like me. I've seen what today's teenagers look like. Old Justin Bieber ass wearing fucking haircut looking kids. Don't look nothing like me. They don't make them like me anymore. And you, for one, should be thankful for that. Highly believes in indoctrination. That's probably because he's in today's school system. He's experiencing it firsthand, more so now than ever, with the whole fucking talk about gender ideology part of the classroom. They did away with religion, but it's okay to talk about whether or not you're wearing the wrong piece between your legs. Huh. All right, Justified. Thank you for stopping through. See you on the next one. Have a good night. All right, Pretty Fly got a membership. Gangster Rap Friday. And my nephew said indoctrination started happening in the 70s. He's 30 now. Interesting. Rogue Days, Days of Future Past. No, I'm not Chicano. Thank you for the star. Pretty Fly. No, I'm not Chicano, Rogue. I am a full blooded Native American. Full blooded Native American. And Chicano is a derogatory term, even for y'all. It's like us calling each other Indians. It's like me calling another Native American Indian. It's a misunderstanding that was deliberately left to stand the test of time, right? Because Christopher Columbus originally landed thinking he had landed on the coast of India. So he named the indigenous people of that land that he discovered that they were Indians because he thought he landed on India. And that shit stuck. And not only did it stick, but they started naming all the government branches that would oversee us with that title. Bureau of Indian Affairs. Like, come on. That's just stupid. But yeah, we're just kind of America's under the rug, dirty little secret at this point. Yeah, I am Night Wolf. Chicanos. If you ever look into it, Chicano was derived from the word chicanery. Chicanery, if you look it up, isn't anything pleasant, right? It's basically like dishonest, deceitful, like you untrustworthy. That's where that word comes from. Hmm. Yeah. Well, look it up. Look up where the word Chicano comes from. I understand that there is a handful of ethnicities that are used to be described by that word. Yeah, you're not wrong. Oh yeah, there are, and it's like that with a lot of different things. There's always a couple origin stories. But I heard that from a pretty trustworthy source, who I would imagine would know better than I. Yeah, but that's the type of stuff we like to talk about in here. That's exactly like we like to enlighten people. We like to educate and learn from one another. We're all about learning. To learn something. I'm a big proponent for learning something new every day. You gots to. Definitely gots to. Oh yeah, it's nice and cool out here. Good, nice and cool. It's gorgeous out. Mexican also means mixed up people. The Spanish and natives in that area mixed so much they didn't know what to call them anymore. You're a walking you piece of information. Absolutely not, S.A. Hero. Or S.A. Wedo. It is, right? That's how you say it? S.A. Wedo? Yeah, no, I welcome anybody. Anybody and everybody. I got no preference. Yeah, fortunately, we got a new one. I need to finish this damn video. Fucking video and cap cut. It's already 60 minutes. That's what I got it down to. I've already cut 10 minutes worth of just unnecessary stuff. It's covering, recapping three different things into one conclusion about getting into what's the most trouble I've gotten into in prison, right? Like type of shit that'll kill you before you go home, type of shit. And I've had it. I've been editing it down. I would like to get it down to like 40 minutes or something. But that's just not possible. And when I get to a point where I'm torn between what I want to do, I end up not doing anything. I don't know if I want to re-record it or what, but at the same time, like I know that putting out an hour-long story isn't anything that I haven't done before. Because I just would like to. I would like to see if regularly putting out shorter length videos is better for the channel overall. A lot of people like them long, but that only sticks around. That's only good for those who are already around. The algorithm doesn't like to push those out. until you're like Jay Williams size fucking status. One of these days, I'm gonna move the whole computer down here. Oh, I forgot I moved the computer or the laptop. I gotta learn how to edit videos on the laptop too, because there's things that are available to me, tools that are available to me on the computer desktop version that aren't available to you on the mobile apps. Like linking videos in the middle of the video, the video pops up, like suggests this or that or whatever. Or if I say click on the video in the corner, blah 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 blah, whatever, and the video pops up. Like I still haven't done any of that shit. I haven't figured out how to do any of like the suggestion or the playlist. None of that stuff. Like there's a bunch of stuff I haven't done yet. Good morning, Cookie. Elizabeth. Good to see you again. Welcome to the live. Catholics were evil as fuck, and I believe they still are. Mexico came from the Mexican tribe. Yeah, I say. I've always said that there's just some truths from history that are going to you're just going to piss people off, right? Because nobody can do anything about it, and nor is it anybody's fault that's alive today that would hear it, not in the accusatory tone in which it would usually be delivered, right? it just it's good to know about those things, but at a certain point, bringing it up to no avail, you know, to no end, to no productive end, it does it does no more, it does no good, and in fact, it can do harm because a lot of people don't respond well to truths, right? Especially when those truths are angled to make people feel guilty for what has befallen their ancestors. But yeah, the Catholic introduced some fucked up shit to the native population in the name of the church, of all things. SA, no, yeah, the Mashika, that's exactly what it is. You're not wrong. I learned about that from all the homies in the feds teaching me about cultura and stuff. I was a tattooist. So as a tattooist, I would tattoo a lot of their cultura for them and stuff. They weren't picky, like how the white guys and they get the bolts and skulls and all that stuff. It's got to be done by another white guy that has those bolts and the skulls and whatever gas masks and fucking Hell Hitlers and 8/8s and all that other crazy shit. I got to do those on one guy. I got to put bolts, fucking white power lightning bolts on a fucking on a racist on a white supremacist. That's why I say if there was ever a native that could have joined a white power gang, it was me. It is fucking me. Why? Because I've already done it. I've already tattooed bolts on another gang member because he honored he honored it by me more than he would by the same men of his caliber on that yard. He didn't respect them, and he crashed out on them too. Right after I gave him that tattoo, he went out there and crashed out on all of them. Got drunk, beat the fuck out of a couple of them, chased one of them around, pissed on their bed, grabbed another one, tried to throw him off the top tier. That's when I came in. I came in at the tail end of it. The 10 man that he slept in, or no, he was that wasn't his 10 man. It was the 10 man I slept in, but he was drinking with one of the Serenos named. I still don't know. I think it's Chibo or Cheetah, something like that. Yeah, weird name. I remember thinking it reminded me of a nickname for heroin. But yeah, he got drunk with him, got his head bashed through a fucking porcelain toilet with blood everywhere, and he shattered the shatterproof plexiglass that reinforces the bars to the window of the 10 man. He spidered that motherfucker with that Sereno's head. This is a one-eyed tattooist white supremacist. This is the guy who taught me to tattoo. Yeah, he broke bread with me. Brought me in under his wing, showed me the ropes, made sure I had something, made sure I ate. It was crazy. I've had some interesting experiences in prison, for sure, for sure. I had the respect of people you wouldn't even imagine. Yeah, Glenn, that's definitely what I'm going to do. I'm going to try a couple shorter videos. I was thinking about, I've already got some short stories that were stories within stories that I've already put out. That, according to statistics, about 70% of people don't stick around long enough to hear. So I was going to re upload those and just see, because they're like 15, 20 minutes, something like that. You know how I kind of veer off into another side story in the middle of a story? Yeah, sometimes those get missed according to statistics. Who knows? So I'm gonna load them up one of these days and see how they do. If there's any truth to that or not. Take a cultural anthropology class. They break it down. Hell yeah! I appreciate that, Elizabeth. Hi, pretty fly. Mexico has the largest indigenous population in Turtle Island. There's a lot of people who still don't believe that Mexico has indigenous, like actual natives. I was like, what do you think the Mexicans were before the Spaniards came? They're like, some argue, some were, some weren't, some, none of them were, all of them were. Depends on who you come across. It's like, damn. I've already met real indigenous looking Mexicans that were Indios like me. From they had their own crazy sounding tribe from Mexico, and they're completely hairless, right? They're fucking hairless like me. You see them that they have like full blooded Spaniard mixed in with them. They got arm hair, they got back hair, they got big old mustaches, right? Big old head full of thick curly hair and stuff. um, I've seen some of them that look more native than anything else. They said that they got tribes in the fucking jungles and the mountains that are living off the grid still to this day, fighting with the fucking Mexican government. Last of the Red Wings. Whoa. I'm not sure you and I are thinking of the same thing. Your third generation boarding school? Yeah. See, you would know. You would know if you wrote with your left, or if you wrote with your left hand, they'd smack your hand, they'd beat you, starve you, cut your hair, forbid you from speaking your language. They did a lot of fucked up shit. Most of us are detribalized. It's been like that for centuries. I can't follow my ancestry. Yeah, that's the way they want it. That's what they tried to do to us. Used to be a Sereno. I'm too old for that. 8 years in the 90s is called Chiva. That's what it was. Chiva. That's what the fuck it was. Thank you, dude. That has been on the tip of my tongue for like a fucking couple years now, dude. That bugged the shit out of me. You have no idea. I told that story like a year ago, and I could not come up with it for the life of me. You have to. You have a whole video about that, don't you? Yeah, I do. Yep. Rosebud Sue, S.A. Wedo. Rosebud Sioux Tribe. David Lockwood, good to see you, brother. It's always a pleasure to have you in the chat. 60% of Mexico's population is mixed. 39 or so are indigenous. Most of the indigenous live south of Mexico. Okay, so they're not lying when they say some are, some aren't. Okay. I always like to dial in what it really is, because until then I have to keep an open mind of it could be either or, and I don't like knowing whether or not it's either or. Aztec Indian, yeah. Yep. That's what we kind of wandered into, Dave. Yeah, we wander into all the different topics in here, right? I'm actually kind of surprised that I have so much to fucking. I've always thought that I knew a little bit about everything, but not everything about one thing. I've always wanted to be that way, more so than specialize in just one thing. And this is exactly why, because you could just converse about almost anything with anybody who comes into the chat. I read an AI breakdown of my channel, and it said that um, I largely relied on the chat for. I don't know how I worded it, but it was very accurate. It was really concise. But then it said some shit that that's like he's done time in Chino, California. I was like, what the fuck? Where'd you get that at? I thought I did time in like some state prisons in California. Prain, Perrine, Praneeth, Praneeth Bis. Jesus, dude, I don't know how to say your name. My day is good. Thank you for asking. You're a perfect combination of both a native with all kinds of hair. That's funny. I watched all your videos. The way you did them really drew me to subscribing and then becoming a member of your channel. Absolutely love it. I appreciate that, Glenn. The way I've done my channel, the stories really has been, I think, unique to me. A lot of people would have you do it a lot differently, but I always felt like anything that I do, I have to do it how I feel on my own first. And if that doesn't work, then I'll start listening to everyone else. Sometimes that works out for me. Sometimes it doesn't. Like everybody told me don't deal drugs. I didn't believe them. I didn't believe them. I was like, if not friend, then why friend shaped? Okay, thanks. Yeah, no, thank you. Mexico has 66 official indigenous languages. Damn, that's a lot. Are those just variations or separate dialects or just flat out different languages? 420, which interview did you see? Is it Blood on the Razor Wire or DOC TV? Rico Hill, I appreciate that. Happy Friday to you too. Pretty fly, thank you. Have you been commenting? Because all I ever see are the stickers you send. It doesn't say you're like on any type of restrictions or anything. It's interesting. Okay. Have you seen the one on Blood on the Razor Wire? That's probably the most known. Okay. Yeah, the one I was surprised with DOC TV. That was um that was kind of like when I first really realized what I stepped into, which was just a digital version of what prison was, right? As far as the politicking, the pocket watching, the conniving, and the just the behind your back movement, action, you know, plotting. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it in the YouTube sphere, unfortunately. And after I had worked with Chad Marks, right, somebody else reached out to me, and I had just I had just stated that I had an offer from DOC TV, and somebody reached out to me, and they had something to say about Chad Marks, and then they had something to say about DOC TV, and so I made a video, which is my most view. It was my most fastest and most viewed video up to this date. Um, I didn't even mention Chad Marks, right? But everybody knew who I was talking about. I was just frustrated, right? I was frustrated that I spoke highly of him. Come to find out that he's got just as much to reflect on as anybody else. And and then the other guy, he hits me up, behind the scenes, and he was like, "Hey, that video you made," he goes, "Was that about me?" I was like, "No. Why would it be about you?" I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Now it makes me wonder what the fuck you got going on. Is the shoe fit? Does the shoe fit, motherfucker? Like, what the fuck? Nah, it wasn't about you. But all you did is show your hand now. You got something you're guilty about too." And sure enough, there's people out there that have something against everybody out there. And now they want me to pick, right? Well, if you work with him, then you're no good. And then if you've already been, in this guy's, in his channel, and he's no good. We're over here, and none of us are no, or we're all not no good. But we're not doing shit. We're not getting interviewed by any big channels. It's like, so what do you do? What do you do? What do you say? You got these people that are like, they don't want you to be successful at the cost of working with people who've made questionable decisions. But you got Matthew Cox, you got Ian Bick, you got Chad Mark, like all these big channels have all worked for what they had. They all did what they had to do, right? At the end of the day, they did what they had to do, what they thought they had to do. And I know exactly that train of thought all too well because it's the same train of thought that I had to travel down myself to come to peace with the terms that I could never put hands on my informants. I got pain and honor tattooed on me, and vengeful and betrayed, and I got all this stuff that had everything to do with them in mind. Grinded an axe for years, and then had to accept the fact that I wasn't willing to come back to prison for them. And I would come back to prison for them because it's not something that you can do. You can't just come out of prison one day and then suddenly something really tragic befalls somebody who's the only person that has a motive is you, and you just got out. So how are you gonna, you know what I mean? It's like it's kind of obvious, really obvious. Like they would know, even if it looked like an accident, even if it looked like they mysteriously OD'd, which is possible. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing to just be sitting in somebody's car when they get off of work one night and hit them with some chloroform or something like that. Load up a really deadly combination concoction, tie their arm up, blast it, sayonara, right? It's going to look like an overdose. It's going to look or accidental. I put a lot of thought into that shit, like I really did. I really did plan on getting out and hurting these people. But ultimately, I knew it wasn't something I could get away with, and it wasn't a chance that I wanted to take, and so I let it go. And that was probably one of the hardest things I had to do. Put that shit down. But it's also one of the best decisions I ever made. And out here, it's just prison all over again, and that's the frustration that came out in that video that shot to 15,000 views within a couple days. Um, yeah, crazy stuff. Feels like I've been on this channel a while now. I can't remember where I saw you first, but it obviously made an impression on me. Yeah, Glenn, you just kind of showed up one day, and you've been tough with me ever since. I can't really put a finger on it either. That's exactly what it was. 420. I had I did forgive them. You know what it was? I met somebody. His name was Chris Cortez. I don't think that's his real name, but we called him Chris. He was Mexican and white, out of Iowa. Paroled in '98, never returned. Prison's a waste of life. It sure is. It absolutely is. But there was this white white slash Mexican dude who ran with the white boys. As a matter of fact, he didn't run Paisa. Right. This is my first FCI, and he had money. Right, not a lot, but for prison, he's rich. You know, he max out his limit every month. He always used to buy my minutes. He put money on my account, and he would use up all my minutes. I didn't need them, right? Because like I said, I didn't call home. I let all my girls go. I let all my girls. That's the only ones who stayed. None of the guys are hanging out with you. I didn't have family, cousins, or nothing like that. It was just all girls. And like I said, I kicked them all to the curb. I said, "Hey, I wish you the best. No ill will on my part, but this is going to be a lot easier for me if I don't got to stand there every fucking mail call and hoping that one of y'all motherfucker drops me a letter. So kick rocks. I'll see you when I get out." But I never did. But some of them died, so I couldn't. But what was I going with that? Damn, I lost it. What was I talking about? Who you were in the past doesn't mean that's your future. No, it definitely isn't. I say I was in California at one point. In the feds, they move you around. And I started off in Pekin, Illinois, went to Oxford, Wisconsin, got railroaded out of there, got sent all the way over to fucking USP Atwater, passed through Victorville on my way there, left, went to USP Beaumont. While I was in Beaumont, almost caught a fucking body, got sent to SMU Lewisburg. So now I'm like 3 for 3 on like three of the worst fucking prisons in the United States. Right. And made it out of Lewisburg, which is a 24-hour lockdown program. They call it 23 in one, but even the one is in a fucking dog kennel with just you and your cellie. So no, you and your cellie and another, usually another cell. They might squeeze six of you in there sometimes, but usually they try to keep just two cells together. That way, if anything ever breaks out between that cage, it's 2 on 2. So it's at least fair. It's fair for as long as it takes for them to get there and either wait for y'all to stop fighting or cheer it on or place bets or mace everybody up and then break it up. They could do any of the following. Yeah, 420. I don't know what the fuck I was saying. It just straight up is poof, gone. Like it's like somebody took a chalkboard and just wiped it clean. I don't know what the fuck I was saying. State time? Yeah, states are a lot rougher. I know that the states in California, the politics in those places is a lot rougher, especially for the homies, right? A lot more stricter. You guys are a lot more closer to the home base, origin of the politics that dictate pretty much the United States prison system. Everybody, including us as Native Americans, base ourselves off some level or like construct of the homies, West Coast politics. They're very influential. They're very influential. They've set the pace. They've set the tone. Benito, welcome to the live. Corcoran Shoe, New Folsom, Pelican Bay, Calipatria, Lancaster. Yeah, those are all rough joints right there. In the 90s, too, that's when it was really crazy. People don't know about that. I do it all the time. Yeah. Man, I wish I knew where the fuck I was going with that. If I watch it back, I'll know exactly what I was saying. But I don't think that's possible on a live. No, it's not. April 26, 1992. There was a riot in the streets. Where were you? I don't think that's how it goes, but that's what it reminded me of. The sublime lyrics. Seeing people flex about being in prison is something my bingo card didn't have on it this morning. Yeah, where'd you go to see that? Yeah, that's exactly what I said. 420. I was participating in some anarchy. Hell yeah. Oh, Glory, what do you got for a profile pic? What the fuck is that? Looks like a Brazilian landing strip. First spot we hit was my liquor store. Yeah, more lyrics. Wow, that shit's coming back. That was one of the fucking classics right there. It was one of the greats. Definitely one of the greats. damn. I got both of them on me. Jesus Christ, I do. I got both of my weed pens on me. It's a barometer test for gooners to see if they see it for what it is or for what they want it to be. I failed the test. Or did I pass? That's a matter of perspective. What's going on in here? What's up with all that bitch ass noise? Talking crazy to the snakes. Any new babies? Any new babies? I don't hear any. You'll know when you hear them. I have, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rat colonies. Why are your babies spread all the fuck over? Who had seeing a pink baby rat on their bingo card this morning? We gotta check if it has a milk ban. Oh, barely. Can't even see it. You can kind of see it. It's right there where my fingernail is. He doesn't have a lot. He's not being fed the most. Let's see if I can show you one that's been fed. Get down. Oh my goodness. And you're not feeding any of them? If you let these starve, I swear to God. None of them. None of them are being fed, except for this one. And not even this one. Barely. It's right there. But you can barely see it. It's getting fed, but that's not how that's supposed to look. have any mealworms for them right now. It's a lot of money. A lot of money going into this shit. You scared of rats? Not these ones. These ones won't put you in prison. I finally got all the alcohol I can't afford. You still going with it? You did a new Rosen cart? You said you have snakes? Yeah, I do. Which is why I have the rats. Perpetual self-feeding source. You know how much they charge you for a frozen puppy rat at a local food store, pet food store? $4 or $5 for a good sized little frozen rat pup, like $3 or $4, something like that. It's spendy, right? Good thing a snake only has to eat once a couple of weeks, once a month tops. But if you got 10, 11, 12, 15, 20 snakes, that adds up. That adds up really quick. I'm about to start drug dealing again just to support my snake habit. I'm kidding, obviously. You have a pastel ball python? Hell yeah, pastels are good ones. I think my OG mama rat over here, Graybeard, she's got some new babies. And she is a good mama. I guarantee you, if I pull one of these pinks out, it's going to have a full belly. I like this rat condominium because when I pull the bottom drawer out, it closes the top. It's got a little ramp that closes, so I lock all the adults in the top while the babies are in the bottom. So I can just pull them out. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see their milk bands. Look at that. You see that? That's a milk band. Full stomach. Bam. Look at that milk band. That's what we like to see right there. That's a fucking milk band. There ain't no doubts right there. He's being fed. Oh shit. Oh no. Fuck. We gotta operate right now. Look at this. This guy is emaciated. He's not being fed. It's not that he's not being fed. Yes, I do feed them to my snakes. Once, not all of them. A lot of them are to grow more rat colonies. We eventually like to get to a point where we could start freezing a lot of our food. We have other moms that will adopt them. I have all ball pythons. I have one Burmese and I have a couple of children's pythons. 12 to 15 for a jumbo frozen. Yeah, I believe it. Absolutely. They keep coming back. I used to hunt them with a BB gun. I used to get high. I'm clean now, though, right? Yeah, Optimus Prime. Damn. Glorious. But look, if you look close here, he has shit stuck in his mouth. What that is dried milk mixed with dust particles of the bedding, which basically makes paper mache, and it has glued his mouth shut to the point where he can no longer feed. So now what we're gonna do, take some of this wet. We're gonna wipe on him, kind of like a mom's tongue. We gotta get it all wet. Yeah, I'm sorry, bud. There you go. Now look. Oh, sorry. He's not out the woods yet. He's still got the whole left side of his corner mouth clogged up. And I can't get into his mouth. I gotta hope that this stays in one piece. Never try this at home.
making this easy, sir. Oh, it was all the way up under his fucking mouth. I got it. Bam. Now his nostrils. That's as good as he's going to get right there. The only bad thing about it now is I don't think he has enough strength to even fight to get to the nipple. We got to put him in there and hope for the best. Yeah, we're gonna get a piece of tweezers. I've never seen this before. Yeah, I'm sorry, bud. Yeah, I wouldn't like it either, bud. Sorry. Bam. Good as new. That should be it. There's a baby rat. They weren't able to feed and were slowly dying right there among their brothers and sisters. And kind of part of, yes, I do have snakes. Yeah, ball pythons. I got like 12 or 13 ball pythons. I got a couple children's pythons. I have a Burmese and a boa. One boa. I always forget about him because he killed his mate over food. So he is constantly on my shit list. He's the last one I take care of. I take care of him. Just last. I think we're good in here. My work is done. All of them, Glenn. Not all of them, but there's some that will definitely bite my ass. Definitely bite my ass. Yeah, I knew there was something wrong as soon as I seen the size of that pink. Unfortunately, that little guy's probably gonna die. I know what it looks like when they're too weak to even fight for a position at the nipple, because they're competitive. They're competitive little feeders. Let's see what I all missed for comments here. There you go. Nuh-uh. Nah. Elizabeth, yeah. Yeah, I do essay, Wedo. I originally had snakes first. We had one pet rat for the teenager, and eventually we got him a mate, right? Because you can't have one rat by himself with one arm missing. So we got him somebody to keep him company. Then obviously they had babies. It was a while. We had them caged together for months before they mated. We figured they just couldn't mate, and that was never. It was never a thing, right? It wasn't like, hey, let's start growing our own rats. It was just something that kind of happened. They finally had kids one day, and we were like, hey, cool, we got a free feed, right? We were just gonna feed because, like, what are two rats really gonna do? Like logistically, two rats at the rate that they had been fucking, which is like a what do they call it? A litter once every couple months, maybe. Like it wasn't feasible, right? It wasn't like financially, it wasn't going to pan out to anything other than giving us a break once in a great while. But then when they had some pups and we kept some of the pups, and then then the father started mating with the young pups, then they had babies, and then we had to separate them because there's too many in one cage. And then they started messing with each other and started having more babies. So then it just started growing. We're like, hey, this might actually work. Like, I got to figure out how to afford more cages because those things are $100 a piece at the minimum, right? Like at the fucking minimum, they're like 100 bucks a piece. help you. But then yeah, so it kind of just turned into it, right? Just happened. Yeah, 420. Sometimes it's fucked up. The animal kingdom is not nice. Sometimes the mom will eat them or won't feed them. Sometimes the male will kill all the babies just so that the mom will reproduce with him again. Most of the time, the male stays the fuck away. He goes into his corner and he lays down. The mom is extremely protective, will fuck up anything that comes near them. They all stay in their corners when they got, multiple broods in a cage and stuff. And I've seen instances where they'll combine the broods between two moms, and the moms will take turns feeding the same pile of fucking rat pups. It's crazy. Then sometimes the moms just, for whatever reason, just let them die. Let them die. Don't take care of them. Just like she just acts like she never had any, right? I guess that behavior isn't exclusive to the human race, but when that happens, we take them and we'll give them to another mom who has pups about the same age. Sometimes they accept them, sometimes they don't. More often than not, they do. But we've had some instances where they were like, "Fuck, no, this ain't mine," and they fuck it up, right? They bite it really hard, and once a baby rat has a bite, like a deep puncture on it, it's over. It's just dead. It's a dead baby walking, right? Because rat cages and the way that they are, they're extremely dirty, and they're gonna get infected. They're gonna roll around in a bunch of dirty urine, feces. They're gonna lick on that stuff. It's just as bad. So it's gonna get infected. It's gonna die. So once you see it get damaged like that, you just feed it off. Just immediately feed it off to something. Steven, welcome to the live. Dirty Drifter, I'm in North Dakota. Yeah, Elizabeth, I'm gonna get some tweezers down here for that if that continues to become an issue. I remember the other day you were showing it to us and your hands were trembling. I remember you telling yourself to calm down. Yeah, they sense, if they sense you're uneasy, if they sense fear, it's going to make them have a response, and that response is either run or fight, right? So they're going to bite you and then try to run or something. So they're dangerous. Most hated, good to see you, bro. Nature is definitely crazy. Absolutely 420. I'm glad you learned something. Nerda, good to see you. Welcome to the live. Hey, dude, if I was getting half my chest and shoulder to the elbow with the tattoo sleeve, who you have any pointers or things to think about with the design? Hmm. There's a lot that could be said there, but ultimately, because I'm not the one that's going to be doing it, I'm going to have to tell you what I've heard said many times before and is super generic response, but it is also very true. And that's that you're going to have to pick an artist and make sure that you see him have a track record of work similar to what you're looking for. So he's not no, one off kind of guy. You see him do one good piece and you think he'll do all right on you. No, this dude has to have a consistent track record of producing quality work of a certain style, and you're gonna have to trust his process, because how we separately as artists, our logic might make sense to me, but Another artist is going to pick up where I left off, and he's not going to know what the fuck to do because that's not the way he gets down. He might have a different process. I might start from the bottom up. He might start from the top down. Somebody might start from the middle and work their way in either direction. And there's a way that they layer and they compose these different elements and how they work with each other. I learned to start from the bottom and go up so that everything can come up from behind the other all the way up. That way it's not a piece here, a piece here, a piece here, and then, filler. Like that's the old school way, right? It's the Sailor Jerry tattoo sleeve way, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just traditional. Now I grew my brand and the name that I'm more known by than anything violent in my gang history is for being a freehand tattooist in the federal prison. I was argued as one of the best wherever I went, and that's because everything I did was off no pattern. And it was, I take a pen, I start from the bottom, I make some marks all the way up, and I would compose an entire sleeve that actually, you know, made sense, was balanced, flowed. I was taught what it was by the old school Mexicans. They called it a viaje, right? And a viaje was basically a mural. And a mural can't just be like all jumbled together. It's got to have some flow to it, right? Things got to tie in together. And you tie things in together by having forethought about how these things are going to play into one another. So you got to have a process, and everyone's going to have a different process. So that's my biggest pointer to you, is to find somebody that you can trust to make all those decisions on their own. You've been wanting a ball python for a while, but I'm probably going to wait until later on. I don't have the money for one right now, and I want to make sure I get everything it needs. Yeah, yeah. My first enclosure, I went all out on, right, and yeah, it's big. It's like 3 feet high, 2 feet wide. It's a big old glass enclosure. It's like it's like so they can got there's some elevation to it. It's got a couple different hides and stuff, but they don't really need all that. I spent a lot of money going all out to spoil the first one, and then you go on YouTube to see how they take care of them, and they got like 10 of them in a fucking hot box fucking stand with each one in a little drawer, because that's what they like. They like small closed spaces. They don't like big wide open spaces that they feel vulnerable in. So do some research, and make sure that you know what it really, the bare minimum it requires, and what's doing too much. Yeah, some are pretty expensive, which is why we went the route we went and invested so much into so many, because we started seeing how much some of these were going for online, right? On Morphs, was it Morphs R Us or something? That Morphs website, thousands, thousands and thousands of dollars if you get them to look a certain way, right? Just some of the patterning, they got to have the right, genomes and stuff. But yeah, so we started buying from reputable vendors with all the proper paperwork and all that stuff. Like how people are proud that they have, pure breed cane corsos and not pit bulls out here and all that. I got pure breed fucking snakes and shit. Nobody knows. Use the horse, cows, dogs, and cats. I got all that too. Not here, but I got a farm out in South Dakota that I can go to and hang out with horses, goats, chickens. The feds. You probably ran into a lot of my peoples in there. I probably did. Everybody's in there. But You did get them more than 34 years ago. Yeah, 34 years ago, all that was being done was traditional. Thank you for the pointers. I can't decide on full color or one or two highlight colors of gray wash. What will age the best? Black and gray will age the best. Unless you're like super on top of skincare routines. It's the only way you're gonna preserve color. But for the most part, people just get color work and go willy nilly working out in the sun, all types of shit with it, and just no sunscreen, nothing, no protective layers, and it fades the ink. But good quality black and gray, that shit will stay dark a long time. Exporting exotic snakes and fish from Australia, I'm sure there is. Anywhere there's fast money to be made, there will be there will be people thriving. Damn, we're already at 2.5 hours. I don't know how y'all do it. If I had my time again, I wouldn't get colored, just black and gray wash. Yeah, my family has a farm too, so of course I'm no stranger to some hard work. Yeah, yeah, that's where we got the teenager goes. He hangs out, goes to school during the school year and does farm work. And in the summer he comes up here, hangs with us, stays up all night, plays video games, jacks around with me all day, going wherever, doing whatever. Definitely a summer vacation. This summer he got a taste of parenthood though. We had him and one of my nieces. These are all white people too, right? Like I'm the only one that's not white in my family, the family that I've created, right? Everybody always assumes I'm either on the res or everybody I'm referring to is Native American. No, I'm like in some military, slightly Amish, descended from Amish type fucking family, right? um, really crazy. They do big things every year. Every year, like every year except for this last year, they reserve a executive cabin at KOA in South Dakota, which is I think the second largest resort in the United States, or second largest KOA resort in the United States. I don't know about total, but they do a lot of big things, man. They own their own farm and stuff, and own equipment, which is their level of broke is like a couple $100,000 more than our level of broke. Like their level of financial success is different, way different. I know maybe two or three people I've seen that look almost 3D with pictures within one tattoo. You ever seen that? I don't think so. Like a tattoo of a lion with numerous symbols hidden within that you really don't notice until pointed out. Okay. Yeah, no, it's definitely a challenge to do something like that on skin. If someone's accomplishing that, then they're pretty good. Yeah, Gary, if whoever you got it doing it, I can only say that their best bet is to have not. I'm not. I can't say as little input. Tell them exactly what you want, right? But at that point, after that point, you got to let them go, right? Because if you try to micromanage everything, you're going to stunt their creative spark. You know what I mean? You will get 100% of effort out of an artist if you let them do something that they really want to do. if they're not interested in the piece, or if like slice the piece down into like slice the piece down into something that's just kind of like unappealing and unexciting, and but it's what you want. Sometimes they'll lose interest. They'll just be like, I'm good. But my shit is about to die. We are going on 2.5 hours, which is good enough for me. I don't know about y'all, but I might try to catch a few more Z's before I gotta get up and start the day. Appreciate everybody's coming through, hanging out with the former felon who suddenly found himself in fatherhood. Come on. Seven minis myself, the single needle. Even worth mentioning. Let's do this well enough to enter a show or two. Hell yeah. Yeah, Glenn. I appreciate you. 420. As always. All right, Elizabeth, you take it easy. SA Widow. It's good meeting you. Glad to have you on the channel. Be seeing you soon. Probably later on. Maybe if I upload a video. Yep, catch you on